Don't you all feel lucky to be alive in the digital age? Yeah? Everyone in this room has a little mini computer in your pocket. And these things follow us everywhere we go, like a little pet. I'm sorry to all you dog lovers out there, but nowadays, cell phones are the new man's best friend. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, good boy. I love my cell phone, my device. I can video chat with my family in the United States. I can play games when I'm in the bathroom, sitting down. Or I can, if I'm getting lazy, I can order a milk tea delivery and have it delivered. Who here wants a milk tea? Yeah, I saw a lot of hands go up. It is an incredible time, and our devices and technology allow us to connect and to communicate in extraordinary ways. But I do believe that we are communicating so much on our devices that we're forgetting to use our voice. Now, when I was growing up, we didn't have mini computers in our pocket. We didn't have cell phones or tablets. When we wanted to call someone, we had to use our analog phone. It looked a little something like that. It was a rotary phone, and it took about 30 seconds to dial someone. And then when we wanted to meet up with them, we didn't have Google Maps. We just had to use just maps, like real maps. And a lot of times we just get lost. We didn't have Netflix, right? We didn't have video games, but we had pencils and paper. And so for me, this was great because I love to draw. Garfield is one of my favorite cartoon characters, so this is what I would draw all the time. And one day my dad came in and he saw me drawing, and he said, hey, kiddo, that's pretty good. And I said, thanks, Dad. Because that's how I used to sound back then. And then the realization dawned on him, and he said, oh, God, I think my son wants to be an artist. Back then, there was a stereotype of the starving artist. You'd end up living on the streets, homeless, trying to sell your paintings, broke. Computers and technologies changed everything. Lucky for me, I was born when I was, and I majored in computer graphics at university, and now I'm an art director for video games. The digital revolution created jobs for artists. And now the starving artist is the thriving artist. You can make a lot of money and there's a lot of opportunities. And nowadays, if you're an artist, you can have an online portfolio. Anyone can have their own art gallery online, and your work can be seen around the world. It's incredible. Technology and social media give everyone a voice, and they allow us to reach a global audience. It's incredible the way that we can now communicate. And I think everybody loves social media because they want to speak out. They want to be heard. I know a lot of shy people in life, but online, they have a really powerful voice, and they have a huge following. It feels good to be heard. It feels good to speak out. And then we get a lot of likes, and it feels great. I have a travel blog, and I love it when I get 200 likes on one of my posts. It feels good to get that feedback. So I'm not here tonight to tell you to not use technology or your devices. They are incredibly powerful, and I encourage you to use them. Take advantage of this opportunity. But I do believe if you want to be really successful, the key is being able to speak in real life and not just online. There was a famous playwright from the 1600s, Ben Jonson, and he looked just like that. In the 1600s, everyone just looked just like that. And he said, to speak and to speak well are two things. A fool may talk, but a wise man speaks. Talking is something that we do every day. But to speak well, there's an art and a science to it. And it's not something that a lot of us ever study or actually practice. But I believe that is the key to being successful, is being able to speak well. Now, a lot of people are really shy, and they're afraid to use their voice. And some people talk a little bit too much. These are the people that I call karaoke talkers, because they're the type of people that love the sound of their own voice. But just because you sing a lot and talk a lot doesn't mean that you're very good at it. I've always been a bit of a talker. I love chatting with people. I love meeting new people. I think we can learn something new from everyone we meet, and so I'm fascinated to talk to different people. I get this trait from my dad. He's a great talker. He was a town politician for about 25 years. He owned his own business, and he's also a great storyteller. So I picked up a lot of the storytelling traits from my dad, and I think that's what has made me a good talker, because we relate to people through stories. So growing up, my family was big into camping. And every weekend in the summer, we would go out to the countryside and we would set up our camper. No TVs or radios. We didn't have all laptops or cell phones back then. But we would have a campfire. And we would sit around and listen to the sounds of nature and sit around and talk and share stories. It was beautiful. And I don't think we do enough of this anymore. Because when we go out in a group, inevitably everyone ends up on their phone, right? Myself included. And on the street, everyone is buried in their devices. But in life, we have to interact with people. We have to talk to people in real life. And through the course of your life and career, you will have to work with a lot of different types of people. So can you speak to them? In my industry, the games industry, we have basically two groups of people that make games. And there's a lot of people on the team, but the core team is made up of artists and engineers. The two are like different species. I mean, they really almost speak a different language. Artists are very emotional and passionate, and they're driven by their creative passion. And engineers are very logical and critical and very analytical. So if you're an artist and you can speak engineering, and if you're an engineer and you can relate well to artists, you're going to do well. You have an advantage in our industry. Author Daniel Goleman has written a few books on emotional intelligence. So his studies have proven that our ability to connect well with human beings and our ability to relate to people in the workplace is a great indicator of our success. More so than, say, just talent or sheer intelligence. So can you relate well with others? Can you talk to others, a lot of different people, and make a connection with them? What about you? If you have an interview for your dream job, are you able to go in there and speak confidently and persuasively and sell yourself? Or what if you find yourself in the elevator with the CEO of your company? You have a window of opportunity to make an impression on them. Do you strike up a conversation, or do you just ignore them and start scrolling on your phone? Or what if you find yourself on the street and you see the most beautiful girl or guy of your dreams? You want to talk to them, but do you have the courage to start a conversation? If not, it's okay, because we have a bunch of dating apps. You can just swipe your way to love. Easy. Opportunities are all around us every single day, but you have to look up. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to be able to talk to people. Don't settle for being shy. Become a good communicator. Learn how to speak well, and become one of those people that is fun and easy to talk to. Somebody that brings out the best in everyone they come into contact with, because they know how to speak well. And I do believe that if you want to be really successful, you will take your speaking and your being able to communicate well to the next level. And that's public speaking. Now, this is something I'm very passionate about, because in addition to making games, I'm also a public speaking coach. So I help people with their confidence, and I help them find their voice. Now, public speaking gets a bad rap, doesn't it? Public speaking is like the kid who gets bullied at school. You know, a lot of people just talk down about it. I hate public speaking. Ugh, I don't want to hang out with public speaking. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. Poor public speaking. I'm friends with this person. And you know what? It's actually a lot cooler than you think. It's actually really fun. Hear me out. I'm going to try and prove this to you. Public speaking is not just standing up on a stage in front of 100 people with a microphone. It's something that we do more often than you realize, like telling a story at a campfire, going to dinner with a few people and telling a story, or mingling at a party, or even at work, just presenting ideas in a small group. If you can command an audience, you will get more opportunities. You will be highly valued in the workplace, because not many people can do it. And most people are afraid of it. You know, if I asked you, hey, do you want to come up here and switch places with me? I think most of you would probably run for the door. But I know that you're not afraid of speaking, because we do that every day. Usually people are afraid of being judged. They're afraid of putting themselves out there in front of an audience. And what if the audience doesn't care? What if they don't listen? Or what if they don't like what I have to say and think my ideas are stupid? And nowadays, you know, it's easy to just kind of run away from it, because there's options nowadays. If your boss asked you, hey, I want you to present that idea next week in front of the all-staff meeting. Now, your first instinct would probably be, oh, yeah, I could probably do that. Or maybe, you know, maybe I could just type it up and send it out to an email and through an email and send it to the team. That's probably easier, right? So we tend to run away from it, because nowadays it's much easier to speak through our devices. We can edit something, we can make it sound perfect, send it out, make sure it's really, really good. It's a lot easier than standing up and having all eyes on us, feeling that pressure. But you have to trust yourself. You have to trust that your ideas are valid and that you have a voice that can be heard. And if you do put yourself out there, the rewards can be extraordinary. So if you use your voice in front of a group and the audience receives your message, the feelings are extraordinary. It's way better than any social media. If you get, you know, 100 thumbs up symbol on Facebook or something like that, you can get 100 people to stand up and cheer and applaud. You feel like a rock star. How many people growing up wanted to be a rock star? I want to be a rock star when I grow up. This is your opportunity. You're probably never going to be a rock star. But if you become good at public speaking, you can feel like a rock star on stage. So public speaking can be exciting and thrilling and fun. When I say that to people, I get the dirtiest looks, always. And the very first thing they say is, I get so nervous. It's a totally natural reaction. When you get nervous, it's basically just energy that builds up inside of you. And it is normal to feel that energy when you're presenting in front of a group, because you put pressure on yourself to do a good job. But all you have to do is just switch that word from nervous to excited. The feelings are virtually the same. It's energy that builds up. Nervous is so negative. Excited is positive. And you can use that to be more expressive and dynamic on stage. Use that energy for good. Public speaking can be a blast. I get such a thrill out of it. I'm an adventure guy. I love thrill sports and adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie. So I look at public speaking like riding a roller coaster. So before you are waiting to get on that coaster, you start feeling this excitement, your adrenaline starts building, and you feel all these amazing feelings. You feel alive, feel that energy, and then when you're on the ride, it is exhilarating, electrifying. It is like an out-of-body experience. And then after, you feel on top of the world. You feel amazing relief. You feel incredible. The adrenaline is rushing, and you feel on top of the world. Public speaking can be just as fun as something like riding roller coasters. And trust me, it's way more safe. Pretty sure that no one's ever died from public speaking. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I have a friend, Ricardo, and Ricardo said to me, you know, Matt, and he's a fantastic speaker. He said, Matt, every time I give a speech, I can't sleep that night. I get this amazing adrenaline rush, and I feel incredible. I can never sleep at night. Now, this is the same guy who, months earlier, he was like a deer in the headlights when he got up in front of a crowd. But he realized he wanted to work on this. He wanted to practice. He wanted to turn a weakness into a strength. And so he practiced speaking. And at a certain point, he turned the corner and he started to realize, you know what? This is fun. I actually enjoy this. And so he transformed into a new person. He became the confident Ricardo that he always wanted to be. And he had no more fear to be able to go after his dreams. And now he has incredible success in his business. So what about you? You can be like Ricardo too. You can become a confident speaker. You can get really good at public speaking. And when you do, everything else in life becomes easier. Everything. Because you have the confidence to do what you always wanted to do. You have the confidence to speak up in groups. You thrive in social situations. And there's nothing that can hold you down. Your personal relationships improve because you're not afraid to talk about anything. Your business improves because you can speak persuasively and confidently. Everything in life becomes easier. But the question is, what are your ideas? What do you want to share with the world? Steve Jobs, you may have heard of him, owns this big company, founder of this big company. He said, you can have the greatest idea in the world, but if you can't communicate your ideas, it doesn't matter. Your voice can be heard, but you have to be able to speak effectively. And you can use your cell phone and your devices and technology and social media all you want. You can get all the likes and the followers and the friends and the experience points, and you can level up in all your apps and your games. And maybe that makes you the most happiest person in the world, and you never have to speak in front of a group. But I believe when you become a confident speaker, you can level up in life. The most valuable device that you have is your voice. Find yours and use it wisely.